No, I never said humble.
Yeah, you did.
You
No, I
100% said
haven't.
humble.
Yes, yeah.
I literally have the list of things that I've said since we've been doing this.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% certain. It's in my hand right now. What are you talking about?
Prove it.
How am I supposed to do that? You want me to screen cap it and send it to you?
Sure.
Oh my god!
Screen cap it, everything, fam.
I'm not wasting my time with that.
Send it to my Google Drive.
Welcome back, Pillars, to another installment of Cultured by the Uncultured. We are your humble hosts, Daniel, DJ, and Taylor B. Today, let's just jump right into it. Music, first and foremost, obviously. That's kind of what we go with anyways, for the most part. Have you guys been listening to anything other than what we wrote already?
Yeah, I think I sent you what I was listening to. I've listened to that all day, that new Kid Ink song.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what I wanted to add. See, I knew I had something I wanted to add, but okay. Yeah, that song was fire. That song was dope.
Yeah, see, it fell in perfectly like that. But, you know, as you guys know how big of a Kid Ink fan, and the fact that we've been doing this for so long and I haven't mentioned Kid Ink, that should tell you something.
You're a Kid Ink fan? I would have never known.
This guy. Blasphemy.
Keep in mind a quick little story. One day we went to a concert with our friends, Fabrizio, one of his boys, and my brother. Kid Ink was obviously the performer there that we were all to see. It was at this little nightclub in downtown San Diego. At the end of the performance, Kid Ink decides to sign everybody's whatever they throw at him. Pretty much that was his thing back then. My ID was signed. I think somebody had their shoes signed. Pretty much whatever you could hand him, he would sign it for you. He was cool like that. So later on in the performance, he decides to throw his hat into the crowd, and Daniel here, along with maybe 6, 7 other dudes. And keep in mind, Daniel, how tall are you?
5'6".
He's 5'6", sir. There was a lot of tall gentlemen that had their hand on that hat. But
expose him
all of them got their hands on it, and Daniel was the one that got to keep the hat. Over dudes that are 6 foot plus.
When you pull out the gun, they all kind of let go.
Well, that's not what happened, but all right. Well, I like that version, though. I definitely like that version of the story. But anyway, that song was dope, though. It's called Holy Grail, right?
Yeah, Holy Grail. It's fine. He's finally back. He's finally independent again, because those last 2 albums were trash. I'm going to admit that. I'm not afraid to admit that they were trash.
Try to share that with us and be like, "Oh man, I'm ready. I'm excited for that." Y'all heard that new Kid Ink? No.
But his mixtapes were doing a lot better than his albums, because he was signed to RCA, and they had him doing this and that and trying to make hit records and trying to make radio records, and he wasn't really being himself. So he actually mentioned that in the songs where he took a couple L's for the last few years, because the fans were like, "What are you doing? Who are you anymore?" And they just stopped messing with him. And that was me included. So I stopped talking about him to people. But I feel like he's back now, because he's independent again. He has that freedom back. So I'm excited to hear the next album.
For sure. If anything, that single is definitely a signifier of something great to come. So I can't wait for it.
But let me clarify that story, though, because they already had the hat, fam. I'm not gonna lie. I ran over the tall dude's hat, and they 5 of them were arguing over it, and I just snuck my hand in there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
All these years, and I'm just finding this out.
I'm pretty sure I told you this.
God, you did not tell me this part. I thought you were in there like swimmer from the jump.
No. They must have played basketball. They boxed me out real good on the jump, but they started arguing, and I just snuck my hand in there while they were arguing, and I started pulling. They were like, "What the heck? Where did you come from?" And I was like, "I've already been here."
Yeah, he straight up passed that shit.
And I just started pulling, and that lady was just like, "Everybody let go of the hat." And she's like, "I'll give it to you, just let go." And I was just, "No, you won't." She's like, "I will." And I was like, "All right, you better." And I let go all slow. And then she took from everybody and she gave it to me. I was like, "Yes, that's how you sneak it."
Another cool thing too, to caveat off that quick little story, we actually met the Rangers there, and for a long time, me, Daniel, and a bunch of our other friends were super into the jerking movement. And let me clarify that the dance movement,
the jerking movement.
And
pause.
Rangers are so super dope. And Daniel, you made it into one of his video, didn't you? At that for that the club or whatever. There was a little 2-minute, 3-minute video of him.
Yeah, it was because the night that we went, it was his release party for that mixtape, Rocket Ship Shorty. So when we went, and I did a little symbol in the camera, and he actually stole that. Low key, but I don't have a lawyer, so I can't sue him, because if you look at one of his albums where I'm doing the A symbol with my middle fingers, he has that.
Yeah,
and that came right after I did that, so he low key took that. but he changed it a little bit to where it says West Side at the same time, but I didn't put the West Side up at the same time. So I guess that's his little caveat to it.
Weren't you like doing like when they first took the video of you recording, you were doing like ninjutsus, weren't you? Like from like Naruto?
No, I was not.
I could have sworn that's what you said you were doing or whatever, like little symbols.
I meant to do the whole flip him off and make the A and everything. I totally meant to do that.
Oh, okay. I thought I was like, okay, you did like the Naruto, and then you just went ahead and freestyled real quick.
No.
All right, but yeah, that song was dope. I can't wait for the album, like you said. Moving on from there, you guys listened to the Brent Faiyaz album?
Brent Faiyaz. Yeah, I listened to that one.
I came out with
I gave it a try.
The album called "Fuck the World." Brent Faiyaz has released a couple EPs, released some singles in like the past couple years. He's dope. Probably the most famous track he's known for is he did the chorus for "You See Money All Around Me." Y'all ain't gonna get no more vocals for free from me, just so y'all know. The little sample right there. But yeah, he was on that track. I don't think that there's necessarily anything that maybe has been as big for him. And I believe this is his first like album, like studio album or whatever you want to call it. I thought it was dope. There's a lot of tracks on here that I've gone back to and listened to again. I kind of had a discussion with somebody, and to myself at least, I feel like this album is like, it's weird how it's so relatable yet unrelatable at the same time, because he says some stuff in this album that like I'm like, what? He says like, fuck the world, I'm a walking erection, and I'm just like, all right, chill out, yo. Like, you know, he says like he'd been like smashing like famous like celebrities since he was 19, and I'm like, all right, you really need to calm down for real, because I don't know what you want right now. But it's dope. He has like, you know, melodies and harmonizing and all that stuff, and it's fly. I like the sound, the beats are dope. It has like kind of like a moodier tone to it and whatnot, and it's cool. I'm messing with it. I definitely have it on some of the songs on repeat.
But was he saying any of those names though?
Oh, he didn't say no names.
Oh man, I wanted all the smoke right now.
Yeah, he ain't that dumb.
I mean, for me personally, I gave that album a listen just because you put it on that list, and I mean, I liked it. I vibed with it. I think that it's just like you said. There was a lot of good harmonies, a lot of good fucking just how it sounded. But for me personally, it was too short. It was only like 30 minutes long, like the album itself, and that doesn't have enough time to like grasp my attention. I felt like the whole album was over before it even started. I felt like there was more that he could have put into it. Honestly, obviously that's how we see in this day and age, but I definitely feel as though it falls short because of how short it is. I like it. I would definitely find myself listening to more and probably putting it. I like Clouded as my favorite track on that album.
Mine has been away.
I definitely could listen to the whole album, but it's just, it goes by too quick. It's just been go too quick.
Hold on, let's give him his credit for that bar he just said right now. He said it was too short for him to be too short, and I was just like, whoa, that was legit right there.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that I thought it was cool. What about you, Danny? Did you get a chance to listen to it?
I listened to it a little bit, but it wasn't nothing really quite, got my attention or anything like that. You know how I am with new artists. It takes me a while to like warm up to their albums.
Sure.
Or they're not new, but they're just new to me.
Yeah.
So it takes me definitely a while. So we'll check back in next week.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel the same way about new artists for dang sure. How about Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats? Their little, I don't know if it's an album or an EP or whatever it is, their collaboration project called Unlocked.
I prefer Denzel Curry when he's alone because I feel like he doesn't have to change up what he's actually trying to say, or he doesn't have to try to fit in. No, not fit in, but have the record fit in with somebody else that he's putting onto the track.
Mm-hmm.
He seems a lot more free to me when he's by himself. I mean, that's probably obvious with a lot of artists, but that's just something I prefer. So the album, it was okay, but he got a nice C for me.
I feel like you would mess with this heavy, DJ.
Yeah, I gave it a listen. I actually, like you said, you feel like I messed with this heavy. I liked it. It was definitely in that sort of style that I kind of fucks with, the sort of thing that I listen to. But not only did about the audio, but did you guys catch the animated video album he dropped with it?
I did not.
I have not got a chance to look at it yet. I have seen it multiple times on my YouTube, but I have not looked at it yet.
I watched the whole thing instead of just listening to the tracks by themselves. It's actually pretty cool. It's it's not super like high def, but it's definitely in that the stylistic choice and simplicity of the imagery that it puts out. It's really good. I'm a huge visual type of person, and I really like music videos. So being able to vibe with the tracks and the actual visual imagery that it has, I actually really liked it. I think it definitely added to the experience for the album. I'm not a huge Denzel Curry fan. I definitely listened to some of his tracks, but I mean, this definitely gave me an opportunity to look more into what he's got and probably give some more, give him a little bit more of a chance.
That's super shocking because he's so influenced by rock that I feel like you would love him like a lot.
Yeah, but just because I listen to rock doesn't mean that I'm gonna like a lot of rock style rappers or people that have the
It's true.
same sort of tone. You know?
What a tool.
I feel like he has that high energy that you would like kind of be, you be drawn to. You would enjoy that. You'd be like, oh hell yeah, I'm digging this. Just whatever you're doing, chilling or whatever, and you listen to that. I remember back in the day, you used to have the iPad, always listening to music, playing the air guitar, playing air drums or something.
Yeah.
So I feel like you'd mess with him a lot. Me myself personally, I thought it was super dope. I thought the album was great. He definitely made it into my playlist. Hit the song. Let me look it up real quick because I don't want to screw this up one time. Cosmic. That was my shiz right there.
Oh yeah, I can agree with that one.
That he has this line where he's like, "They got guns in VER, we got guns in," and then like it cuts and it inserts an audio from I don't know where, and then it goes reality, and I was just like, just all the things that they were doing, like the technicalities of like the song and like the way they were implementing like the beat and like the sound changes and all that, and like the inserted clips of audio, and I was like, this is like fun. Like whoever was making this was like they were in there like. I'm doing this up real quick. Like we about to mix this up real nice, and it's gonna be real tight, And it worked out pretty well in my opinion. I thought it was super super duper fire. I'd probably give it like an A elite, no, maybe a B on the safe side because there's not really like sing songy stuff, and I do like some of that stuff, not all the time, but I would appreciate that a little bit. But like as far as like raw hip hop, I thought it was like it hit the mark for me. He had like I think it's in the song Diet. He like has a moment where I'm like, is this DMX? Like I was like, oh shit, he's going in right now. But yeah, I like that album. I vibe with it a lot. Do you guys have Netflix? I know you don't, Daniel, but do you have Netflix, DJ?
Of course I do.
Okay.
I got kids. Of course I have Netflix.
Did you get a chance to watch that show Rhythm and Flow?
I have not yet. Jesus, I think you've asked me that like 5 times in this podcast.
So it was a good show overall, and I think like it kind of introduced you to like a lot of artists because a lot of those guys ended up getting a lot of notoriety and fame.
Yeah.
Sort of like what happens on American Idol, and I would really hope that these guys can kind of stick around for a little bit, and enjoy their moment, and put out some projects, make some money, put for themselves and their families.
It's funny that you say that because I haven't heard anybody's name since that show ended.
That's I follow all of them, so maybe that's why I hear them, and then I know like how like successful or semi-successful they're doing, and they're always promoting their show, so I know like they're making money.
That's kind of how all the TV music things do now. They're like American Idol, The Voice, X Factor. You really don't see a lot of people becoming really huge off of those anymore.
It's just like I feel like it's those circles. Like if you mess with that stuff, like or you're a fan of that, then you'll be more into like
it'll be a more dedicated fan base.
Yeah, exactly. Because he already has like there's artists that I know that have been like pumping out music for like the last decade, and they don't even have 1 million followers on like Instagram or whatever social media. Not that necessarily contributes to like your monetary value or anything like that, or like your success, but it definitely helps when you want to like promote a show to be like, hey, like catch me at whatever spot or whatever. And it's like, okay, you got 50,000 guys over there that are trying to like, peep your show or whatever. So I think that's really cool for him at least, But the winner of the show, D Smoke, dropped an album called Black Habits. It's beautiful. I don't really know what else to say about it, honestly. It's a work of art, and I really am glad he was able to share his personal life with us, as well as share like some wisdom with us. My only gripe, and please don't give me no hate, Latino community, because I mess with y'all,
Wow.
But the one thing that I did not like about this album is that, so like in the show, he kind of did this every song too. He does like a verse or whatever in Spanish. And that's cool. I'm glad you can showcase the ability. You can rap in Spanish and in English. That's dope. But I feel like sometimes it's forced. It sounds more forced than like, artistic. And in that sense, I'm like, it doesn't mesh well to some degree, especially when he does like, he's like going on in Spanish or whatever. And then like, he just keeps going and continues in English. And it's like, that's cool that you can transition and it showcases an ability, but it's not like speaking to me from an artistic standpoint. It just sounds like it was forced. It doesn't really sound genuine or natural. It just like, it's almost like you're trying purposely to appease, and he may be, I don't know, but it's like you're trying to appease the Latino community by doing that versus like, this is kind of coming from the heart or from the soul. But I mean, that's just me though. It's just like that weird sound. It's almost like it's inserted in, and then like it almost like, when you can really tell that people were not in the studio together.
Yeah.
That's what it gives me like a a kind of a feel of. Like, it sounds like you just punch this in and then send it to yourself and then just punch it into the track or whatever, you know. So that's the one gripe I have. But other than that, it's beautiful, it's artistic, it's poetic, it's trials and tribulations, personal life, you know, like a little bit of love story is great. My favorite track on there is easily Fallen. That's what that one speaks to me, and I've been playing it like every day for like the last like week. So yeah.
Is it better than Tyler's album?
No. No, it's not. It's like it's hard to compare it to that because it's like a different experience. You know, it's not like that somewhat weirdo, but like high energy.
Well, what would you compare it to then?
I compare it to like, I don't even want to say another rapper, to be honest, but I compare it to somebody like J. Cole or like Kendrick Lamar or something, you know, somebody who's giving you a piece of like their soul and like
Man, you putting them in some high praise right there.
I mean, praise where praise is due, you know what I'm saying? But
I guess I'm gonna have to give that track a listen then.
Yeah, it's a great album, and I think like, and especially this, like, people who are black definitely need to listen to the album. It's great.
Oh, so that doesn't mean I can't listen to it?
That does not mean you can't listen to it. I'm just saying,
he speaks Spanish, so I'll get used to those parts. All right.
Exactly. You know, you'll be able to break that down for us real quick. You know, but I don't know. So you guys didn't get a chance to listen to it, I'm assuming, right?
I didn't.
No. You know how I felt about the show. I wanted Old Boy to win, but he didn't. So I'm gonna boycott this album as long as possible.
Wow. You boycotting a work of art. Wait, who did you want to win? You wanted Flawless Ferrari to win, or Flawless to win?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Damn, spoilers! How am I supposed to watch it now?
Oh, I feel like we're spoiling our fans too. Sorry about that. No,
if anybody hasn't seen that by now, besides DJ, like, come on.
Last but not least for from what I was pointing out, a Boogie with a Hoodie dropped Artist 2.0. I gave it like a listen and a half.
You're just gonna disrespect his name like that? Okay.
It's a Boogie with the Hoodie, isn't it?
Yeah, but you called it a Boogie. You called it a Boogie with a hoodie.
A booger with a sweatshirt on. But he dropped Artist 2.0. A lot of people were looking forward to this. I was not one of those people. I'm definitely not looking forward to any of his other stuff either. I've only liked really specifically one song by A-Boog, and that was Drowning with him featuring Kodak Black.
Of course.
This album is, the one thing I can appreciate it is like maybe like some of the melodies or whatever. He kind of has like that sing-songy vibe, but it's like all the time versus like some of the time. So I get over that. He doesn't necessarily sound like super unique to me in any aspect either. I like some of his kind of like hood fairy tale style of storytelling. It's that's kind of cool. But he doesn't have a bunch of lyricism. I'm not really listening to him to be put into a mood or anything like that. I'm not listening to him to get like, barred to death. I'm not listening to him for really anything specific personally. So I'm definitely never going to listen to this album again unless I'm listening to it from a friend because I'm in their car. That's probably the only way I'll listen to it. But
every time you're in my car, I'm gonna play that album now.
Wow. Okay. Well, what did y'all think about the album?
You got anything, Daniel?
No. No, just play. It was actually more surprising than I thought that I was actually enjoying it as much as I was, because I'm usually not an A Boogie with the Hoodie guy, but there's a couple songs on there that I liked, but I didn't like them too much because I can't remember the names of them right now. But off the first listen, in the car and everything, I was definitely vibing to at least 4 of those songs. They were like towards the middle, but I was definitely loving it. It was a little bit too long because once it got to like the 3/4 of the way, I was like, okay, I'm kind of done listening to this. Now I want to listen to something else.
Yeah.
but off the first listen, I definitely enjoyed most of it.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, I gave it a listen as well. If I had to give a song that I actually liked, I kind of liked Another Day Gone, and that's mostly because of it featured Khalid, and I've been listening to a lot of Khalid because I got kids and my wife and all that stuff. But I mean, I kind of agree with you guys. It was kind of something that, like, don't get me wrong, I could hear it, I can listen to it, but it's not something that I would personally search up myself. Like, I preferred Hoodie Season more than Artist 2.0.
To me, it's like he makes, like, I can hear how this sounds good to people, like I can respect that.
Yeah.
But he's definitely he's not for me, like, at all. Like, I would probably go to a concert for him if like people invited me or whatever. Like, yeah, sure, I'll go. But like, am I trying to go see A-Boog, or am I trying to go, hear his next album, or like desperately waiting for his next track? Not at all.
Yeah.
Not even.
So if he's the special guest for Flogno this year, are you gonna boo? Or
yes, I will be booing. I'll be in the front of the crowd booing, and then everybody who enjoys him can be in the back of the crowd cheering him on.
Savage.
And I know you've been waiting for this specifically, DJ. That's why I mentioned it. ADHD, the new album that's going to be released by Joyner Lucas, finally gets a release date. Finally.
Finally.
March 27th. Yes, you heard it here first, folks. Probably not. You probably already heard it if you give a damn at all. ADHD has a release date of March 27th. Even though we already got like 10 tracks off the album, I don't know how it's still waiting that long to be released.
I was gonna say that. I feel like I've heard the album already.
Like, watch they drop a whole new album. None of these tracks are on that album.
Imagine, oh man, I totally thought him and Chris Brown were going to drop a collaborative album because they made those 2 tracks, and then I don't know what the hell happened with that.
Chris Brown happened.
I know, right? He dropped his own album. He said, "Man, screw you, Joyner. I'm out here dropping my own stuff. I got to work with Drake too, so bye bye. It's only 2 light skins at a time." Besides him, dropping his album in March, PARTYNEXTDOOR. He's supposed to drop an album this month, is he not? The month is almost over, man. Where you at?
Drake keep taking Party's album, putting it on his party album.
Man, but like the songs he was released so far, I've only liked one of them. The one with Drake, I did not like. The news, I liked that one. It was cool. Very soft. Kind of gives you that vibe feeling. But I'm excited for his next album just because I want to see if it's good or not. I don't know how many PARTYNEXTDOOR fans there are, but he makes some pretty good music. He has a voice, he definitely has talent. And I think it's a shame that he hasn't really gotten pushed more than he has. I know he's probably doing stuff behind the scenes, writing or doing whatever, helping out Drake on the side or whoever, whatever famous artist. But I think he has an ability that needs to be showcased itself versus like behind somebody else or for somebody else instead, period. I think he's talented in that degree. I like a lot of his music and he just kind of deserves that, that chance to kind of shine in the spotlight. That's about the end of the music, unless you guys got anything else, right?
Well, I wanted to put one more thing out there before we finish music. I know that I talked a little bit about it on the last podcast, but the one last thing that I kind of was messing with, Avenged Sevenfold. Literally an hour after we finished our podcast, they dropped the album that I was waiting for.
Oh, nice.
Diamond in the Rough is the name of the album. It's actually a really good album for those people that listen to rock and metal and actually vibe with that sort of stuff. It's very reminiscent of their old ways, of their old style. A little bit after their drummer had passed away. So, I mean, it's definitely an album that I've been listening to for a while. It definitely pushed me back into my sort of rock metal influence. So, I mean, that's why I think that this Denzel Curry album is kind of hitting me a different way than it would be when I was vibing on some hip hop. But, I mean, definitely it's an album, if you do like metal, it's something that you should listen to. It's a really good album, and I think it's probably, as of right now, it's the best album. It's the best album for rock of the year for me.
Oh, nice. That's definitely saying something, especially because we're like just starting the year off, Yeah,
so it's a good way to start the year off.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Moving on from there, we got some movie news. First and foremost, let me just get this out of the way because I don't really think we give 2 craps about the Oscars at all.
Jeez.
Whoa. I did care about Stephen A. Smith getting on there.
He was in the Oscars? I didn't watch the whole thing.
They gave him a whole 30-minute. I don't know if it was 30 minutes, but they gave him a whole segment where he could sit there and he was talking about movies. He said he had to watch 9 movies in the span of 2 days.
Oh my!
So he could talk about the movies.
They gave him too much time to talk. If you ask me.
Oh
I don't like Stephen A. He's fucking does not deserve to be what he is right now. And
I feel like it's his performance that gives him like the why he's where he is basically.
It's just, oh my god, I don't like him.
Okay, well, don't worry, we'll get into sports right after this. But so Joaquin Phoenix wins Best Actor for Joker 11 years after Heath Ledger's Joker performance, which I thought was actually kind of cool that another Joker won it. Kind of feel bad for Jared Leto now. Like I wonder how he must feel. Like he probably feels like ostracized or just kind of like left out of the whole thing because he's like, man, I was Joker.
He probably feels exactly how I feel. I'm sitting here.
He feels like a joke.
I'm sitting here for what? He didn't do anything that really stood out to me for him to win anything in that movie. Like
I think the thing that people like, because I even though I'm not a huge fan of that movie, I feel like his performance was well done. He kind of immersed himself in that character, and I try not to think of it as the Joker, but I feel like that person with the mental illness, the like the little like kind of like not nervous tick I want to say, but just like like that laughing uncontrollably thing, and then like all his issues, and then kind of going into kind of like insanity, basically kind of going insane and like kind of seeing things from his own personal view instead of like knowing what's right and what's wrong or whatever. He seemed more like a psychopath versus like a sociopath, which is typically kind of what I think of as the Joker. But I mean, like, I'm sure Joker does know right from wrong or whatever. But anyway, I thought in that sense of him kind of immersing himself into that role, I think he did a great job in that. And in that sense, he kind of deserves it. He lost a crap ton of weight. I definitely didn't necessarily see like Joaquin Phoenix. I saw like, you know, the character. I saw this man that was down on his luck. You know, he was poor. He had a lot of issues. People were lying to him. He might have found some crazy news from a mother that who could have been insane. He's seeing all these things in his head that are happening to him. He feels like, but in reality, they're not happening. Still to now, I don't even know what's real in that movie and what's fake. But
the whole movie was fake.
So in that aspect, I think that he did a great job. And I can't really name too many other movies where I was like, oh man, this person did a much better job besides like maybe Midsommar, maybe, you know, but I mean, that's just, you know, me speaking on that though, because I saw that movie and it was dope. But yeah.
Yeah, Midsommar was pretty good, but we're not talking about that again. That's going to send us into a whole nother rabbit hole you don't want to go down right now.
And then Brad Pitt wins Best Supporting Actor in Once Upon a Time with Hollywood, this is another one where I'm not a fan of the movie, but I agree with the choice because I think Brad Pitt did his job well. I mean, as a supporting actor for sure, like the main actor, of course, being Leonardo DiCaprio. They both played their roles, and Brad Pitt's character was the most entertaining piece of the movie for me. It was the greatest part of the movie. All his scenes were well executed. Even the Bruce Lee thing, I was like kind of like felt a ways about, but I mean he did a great job the whole movie. He damn near looked like he was like in his early 30s again, you know. So kudos to him. You know, I'm out here looking like I'm 55, but so that was cool. And then have you guys seen Parasite? Because I keep hearing about
yes,
cleaned house. I heard it's really
that
really good.
It's genius. I spent extra money just so I could rent it.
Can you tell me what like the premise of the movie is? Don't like spoil the movie. Just tell me what the premise of it is.
I mean, there's a parasite.
Yeah,
that is not what this movie is about.
It's not. Well, it's actually about a parasite, but not in the way that you think.
Not like a disease.
No, definitely not a disease. I'd say more as
like a person.
Multiple people.
Okay, yeah. Because when I first heard about this movie, I thought it was a live action version of the anime, and then when it won all the awards, and I'm like, there is no way a live action adaptation of an anime got all these Oscars. So clearly, I was wrong on that end, and I never found out what it's actually about. I never like took the time to go on YouTube or to like look at a review or anything like that to be like, oh, this is what this movie's about.
You're gonna get to a certain point in the movie, and you're gonna be like, this is why it's called Parasite, and you're just like, this is genius.
That's the thing though, like where like so like I think about it in my head and I'm like, if it's about like parasitic people, then it's kind of like I don't see how to me that's that entertaining, you know? Because I've dealt with that before. It doesn't really seem like that high value, but is it entertaining more in like a comedic aspect or like
it's more of a thriller than they let on in any of the trailers anybody's talking about.
Interesting.
It's super of a thriller. It's a mind twister at some point too, because you find out something at the end and you're just like, wait, does this person know this whole time?
That's crazy.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend you getting that ASAP and watching it.
It's a foreign film, right? So it's subtitled or is it in English?
Yeah, it's subtitled.
Okay. All right.
You watch anime so much, you're used to
it. Well, yeah, that's it for the Oscars. I don't think we really give a damn about anything else that happened there. Kudos to those guys and the people that won their awards. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Parasite is the first foreign film to win an Oscar. So that's super awesome for them. Let's get into this Spider-Man news because there's a ton of it. So first and foremost, a new Marvel/Spider-Man Sony film was announced for 2020. And when I say that, I'm saying not necessarily another Spider-Man film because Spider-Man 3 also comes out next year, but I'm saying another something that's pertaining to Spider-Man is coming out
in the Spider-Verse.
In the Spider-Verse, basically, yeah. There's no news on it, but there has been news leaked that Spider-Woman film is also in development, and I'm not sure if that is the movie that people were speculating about, or if this is something else completely different, and that it's just in the beginning stages, and there's no release date for that. I don't think. I haven't heard about one. I just heard that they want to kind of change her origin story a little bit, and it's cool because Spider-Woman is not the same as Spider-Man. I honestly don't know why necessarily she's called Spider-Woman. She's like a secret agent. I think she can fly, if I'm not mistaken. She has this red costume and she shoots these energy beams or whatever. So she's not really like Spider-Man. And I think she has super strength too, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, but yeah, she's cool. She's a cool character. I remember the first time I heard about her was playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which is cool. You get a lot of trivia about a lot of the superheroes, especially people you don't know or never heard of. So that's kind of the only reason why I've ever heard of her or know of her. And I'm looking forward to that though. Moving on from there, current films that are in development, just so you guys know, Morbius releases later this year, and Venom 2 releases later this year, like the end of the year, like the fourth quarter, I think. Spider-Man 3 releases next year, and then Spider-Verse 2 releases in 2022. So there's a bunch of films that are already kind of slated for it. So the Spider-Verse is kind of looking to be huge, obviously. So that's super dope.
Which is awesome.
Is anybody ever going to talk about, or are we going to talk about how this Birds of Prey flopped?
So, okay.
I know. I just mentioned DC when we're talking about Marvel. I know. I committed a sin.
Well, I was gonna lead into that right now, but I mean it's fine. We can start there first. So done with the Spider-Man stuff, right? So Birds of Prey kind of had a bad opening weekend or week or whatever. Some people think that it may be due to the fact that it's called Birds of Prey versus Harley Quinn or whatever. And then I heard that led to a name change where they call it like Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey or something like that. So people kind of like understand like, you know, she's the star, this is her movie or whatever, and the Birds of Prey are also in it. I thought the movie was fun. It was cool. There's lots of energy. There's a lot of action in there.
Did you like that singing though?
No, it was real brief. Thank God. I'm not a fan of like any kind of musical numbers in films at all. Like, I don't want to go see Les Mis, and I walked out of Les Mis. You know, like, so you know, singing is not for me. But the action is cool. I kind of wish that's like one of the gripes for me. I wish there was a little bit of better choreography, you know, a little bit better / more believable choreography maybe. And then I wish like there was more of a showcase of like a certain character's abilities. I'm not gonna spoil you guys on that just because it's still a pretty brand new movie. But overall, I thought it was fun. The cast was great. They're great actresses. Everybody did a good job. I thought Ewan McGregor did a good job as Black Mask. The movie was a little bit more violent than I actually initially thought it was going to be, which was super awesome. I was like, oh, this is what we're getting? All right, cool. I'm here for it, you know? I know you know the scene I'm talking about, DJ.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I thought it was fun. Did you like it, DJ? I mean, we never really talked about the movie after we saw it, but I thought it was fun and it was cool. Like I don't know if I would go see it again, but like I can't say it was a bad film for me at least.
So me personally, I mean, I thought it was okay. I vibe a lot more with Marvel than I do with DC. I'm definitely a Marvel fanboy, but whenever it comes down to it, after watching the movie itself, it did make me kind of opened up the idea of the possibility of what route are they going to go in the future. Because now that they bring out the Birds of Prey and they're kind of showcasing all these characters, like these characters that you're talking about, it kind of makes me feel as though, are they going to continue with their story to build that ever universe, the DC universe, like the Marvel has, or are they just going to kind of get lost in this sort of like
introducing characters? Like I feel like that's their kind of like shtick right now is like,
yeah,
we keep getting people and then we get more people, and then it's like you're not, there's not really a method to the madness, you know? It's like people have been saying this from the beginning that DC is trying to play catch up to Marvel's like already established career.
Yeah.
And in the movies at least, and I feel like that is the constant case, is that like we're getting things that we don't necessarily want or need, but then you're giving it to us anyways, and it's like it's cool, it's fine. Like one of like that's like another gripe I have about the movies, that like cameos. Where the heck were the cameos, dude? Like there was so much like low level like crime like cameos, I guess you could say, but there was nothing like major, like something super cool. I could be like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe they introduced this character, or this character's an appearance, or this character was mentioned or something, you know? Like there wasn't nothing big like that I could recall throughout the whole film.
Yeah, and I think like the biggest callback they had was to old dude from Suicide Squad, which I think was Boomerang or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest cameo that I saw, unfortunately, other than the main characters and the main villain. But I mean, it was a fun movie, like you said. I definitely thought like the pacing was good. It was a decent movie. I definitely would watch it. My kids would probably watch it. I mean, my kids love any sort of comic book related cinema in this day and age. But I do agree with you. I feel it was lacking in some sort of, not star power, but some sort of huge like world building that they could have done to bring into this new DC universe that they're trying to build. Because since they're trying to reboot it, get rid of get rid of Superman, get rid of Batman, and bring in new people, it kind of feels like we need something big. Because we don't know how, if Joker is even going to fit into this universe, how this Harley Quinn works with whatever. We are already getting a new Wonder Woman. It's just hard to see how this. It's hard to see the big picture right now, and I'm really hoping that they just continue and don't just drop all these characters that they put all their time in. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely don't think this movie was as bad as Cats, though. If you haven't seen Cats, this movie is not as bad as that.
Yeah, it was fun. You gotta go take a look at it if you haven't seen it, or if you're on the fence of it. I definitely would go take a look. It's not really even about going into like an open mind. It's just like, dude, just go watch some girls kick butt and have fun. it's cool. But speaking of this already established franchise, the Batsuit teaser finally dropped. Did you guys get a look at that?
Of course.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? What's your first impressions?
Yeah, I'm not really impressed with it, to be honest with you. It just seems like it'll probably look better, when we actually get the movie or whatever, however they plan to unveil it and all that. It'll probably look definitely, but the pictures is just okay. It's just a picture to me.
Okay.
When it comes to me and like the suits, I love how the way they unveil it is a big thing for me. Like when they had the new Black Panther suit, or they had the new Spider-Man suit and all that. That makes it way cooler to me. Like, oh, I can't believe that happened. Like when Tony Stark jumped out of that tower and he put on the new suit, and I was like, oh, I love that.
Yeah, stuff like that is definitely cool. I think like presenting the costume is always a big deal. People always want to see it, and people are like, oh, like that's kind of like your first impression of the movie. And if you're not happy with the costume, there's probably no way you're gonna watch the movie. What about you, DJ?
Me, so I know we talked about this a little bit already, but personally, when I looked at it, I definitely had this Batman Beyond vibe to it. I know you guys say that that's probably a little dumb, but I really feel as though with the red tint and the vibe that it gave to me, it made me feel like Batman Beyond. I mean, you got to think
He does look young too.
yeah, well, yeah, of course. I know there was a lot of people that were saying that because of who they casted, that they were going to go towards having someone be an older Batman while passing the torch. So I could definitely see that. It's something that stuck in my mind, so that I saw. But I definitely like how it looks. Interested to see where they go from this point on, because Batman, out of everything that DC has put out, Batman has been the one like constant. I know that Wonder Woman was great, and I know that Aquaman was okay, but I mean the Batman movies from even back from like the 90s.
I'm gonna stop you right there real quick. Aquaman was not okay. It was great. The women loved that movie. But continue.
The women loved that movie. Yes, I agree. But it was an alright movie. It definitely didn't.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't get what I needed from it. But I definitely feel as though with Batman being one of those constant since from the start of time, since we've seen Batman movies, I definitely am interested to see how they do this next Batman movie.
For sure.
I hope you're right that it is this whole Batman Beyond.
It's okay. First of all, it's not Batman Beyond.
My point.
So put it into that.
Let me finish my point.
Go ahead.
I'm hoping at some point it goes into that direction, so we can get a Nightwing.
That's not how that works.
Whatever.
Okay. So okay, let me break it down to you, because I have some things to say about this too, along those lines, right? First and foremost, people have been throwing out the idea of Batman Beyond for a long time, just because like we've got a ton of Batman iterations, and a lot of people would like to see Terry, become Batman, and think it would be pretty cool, especially in today's society. We have all these crazy CGI. I mean, look at Black Panther. It's like, think of Black Panther and a futuristic city and all that stuff, and it's like, bam, you got Batman Beyond. Just put Batman in it, So if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be more like an early career Batman, which is cool. There's already theories to saying the new bat symbol that he has, which is, by the way, if you didn't know that, there's a new bat symbol on the Batman on his costume. There's people are speculating that maybe that's the gun that was used to kill his parents, that he like cut it in half to make that symbol, which is totally cool if that's the case. My thing is, I've always wanted to see. I don't know how long it's been, but we have not had a Dick Grayson in the movies, or Jason Todd or anything like that. I really want to see the Robins get established and introduced into the DC like franchise period. Sidekicks are a huge part of DC for me, and for probably a lot of people, because if they weren't, then they wouldn't have their own series at some point. Like for example, Nightwing. Nightwing has his own series, and he needs some spotlight, like throw him in there. We need something. Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, freaking Red Robin, whatever you want to call him, Damian Wayne. There's plenty of Robins out there, and there's plenty of stories with Robin, him and Batman having a falling out, things like that. Hell, Batwoman or Batgirl, there's lots of people in the Batman universe to introduce into the storyline, and I think it would work really well. With that being said, so like you said, like you want to see Nightwing or whatever because of Batman Beyond or whatever. So they're all old by the time Batman Beyond comes, because it's like 20, 30 years plus in the future or whatever. So like even like the youngest one in like the animated series was why can't I remember the freaking third one's name? Oh my god, I'm gonna shoot myself.
Fix that.
I'm not really. Don't say anybody. But the freaking third Robin was like an old man, and he was turning into like the Joker for some reason because of something that happened to him when he was a kid or whatever, right? So that was super crazy. But Terry McGinnis is, he's way younger than Batman. It's kind of just went at the point where Batman is kind of, it's over for him. He's an old man, even in this fancy suit. He can't maintain it. He's too old for this. Terry McGinnis comes along, gets the suit, and Batman basically becomes his guy in the chair. So it's kind of cool because he has all this experience, and then there's times where
Batman becomes Alfred.
basically, and then he has all this experience, and Terry McGinnis sometimes doesn't listen to him, but then he does, and then he learns something that he didn't know. Every once in a while, there's even an adventure where freaking I think Terry McGinnis and Batman both go to Ra's al Ghul's place or whatever. He makes Batman the original. He makes Bruce Wayne young so he can steal his body because he stole his daughter's body and he wants to get into a man's body. He's going to steal Batman's body, but then they fight their way out of there or whatever. It's super crazy because I'm just I can't imagine
it's a monster.
Something crazy like that. But he's definitely a cool character. Definitely has a lot of cool little adventures of himself. There was you know what? We're gonna go down a nerd rabbit hole if I continue with this, but it would be a great idea overall to have a Batman Beyond movie. I just don't see it happening anytime soon, realistically, unless they do some kind of travel to the future in one of the Batman films or something, which could happen in the whole Justice League thing, because I know the Flash ran back in time. I could totally see something happening. He runs forward in time. Bam, he maybe a cameo real quick from Batman Beyond or something, that would be super awesome. But I don't know when that's going to happen. It might not ever happen. Who knows? Moving on from there, because we've been talking about superheroes for a hot minute. Harrison Ford, you guys excited for Indiana Jones 5? Because I'm not.
Hey, Harrison Ford is also a superhero.
Okay.
How many times does he have to die in his own movies?
For real, though.
All his old characters just getting murdered off because he's so old.
Well, they got to kill him off. If they see, this is what happens when they don't kill him off. You don't kill off his character, he comes back.
I know, right? Shoot.
So they're gonna kill him off. Spoiler for Indiana Jones 5. They're gonna kill him off at the end of the movie.
A new Tupac film. I don't know if you guys heard about this, this is insane. So apparently there's a Tupac film in development or being pushed for. It's like a what if film for Tupac where it's about him escaping the hotel in Vegas or the hospital in Vegas and going to Mexico to seek asylum or protection from one of the tribes down there.
It's not a what if. Tupac is alive.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
they just call him Dos Pesos.
Oh gosh.
We need a drum set on this thing. That was good.
So yeah, they just added this Tupac film going to escape to Mexico. I mean, it doesn't seem that enthusiastic for me. I'm not really gonna catch it unless you guys want me to watch it for this podcast. But I really don't have any sort of information about it, anything that I'm kind of looking forward to when it comes to that. What about you, Daniel?
Well, me just being the conspiracy glutton that I am, I'm already interested because I low key feel like this actually happened at some point. I know I'm not alone in this because there's other people out there in the world that definitely feel the same way I feel about it. So I'm at that alone is going to get me in the theater just to watch it to see what's happening. Depending on who they have to play in Tupac, I don't want some cookie cutter person out here playing Tupac.
It's probably gonna be the same guy from the other films.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might be the same guy that they did on the.
They got that same guy playing Biggie from the old Biggie movie. He was in the Tupac movie.
All right, if they keep it the same, then all right. I don't. You can't just give me a new story and a new Tupac. Keep it together.
Sorry, a new Tupac. Last but not least, to wrap up this film and TV stuff. Netflix drops a trailer for season 4 of Stranger Things. It's a little teaser trailer. Showcases Hopper, in case you guys didn't know he was already alive. I mean, who didn't know that?
I didn't know that. I've never seen an episode.
You haven't? Oh my god!
I have not seen an episode of.
We were definitely supposed to talk about that, and you were supposed to start watching it, and you just never binged it. But whatever, that's not a big deal.
Yeah, I started binging all of the Marvel TV shows.
I know, right? With that, but Hopper, he's in some sort of prison camp, working on a railroad or something, and there's Russian guards or whatever. So all we really got from that is that Hopper's still alive. I don't know why you would I mean, even though we knew, I wouldn't have necessarily just thrown that out there. I would have definitely showcased something else, personally. But I mean, maybe they have their own reasonings behind that.
Well, from what I heard that season 3 wasn't that good at all. So I think that if anything, it might be a ploy to get more fan interest if you bring an old character back that hasn't been there for a while.
Well, no, DJ. If you had watched the show, you would know that he was there until the last episode. We just believed he died at the end of the season, but
okay. Spoilers, man. Now I can't watch it. You just spoiled season 3 for me.
But yeah, so I mean, it looks cool, and I don't see how that would be the case because I think season 3 has the most action out of all the seasons. So I was stoked about it. It was dope to me. But that's about it for that. Let's move on to. You want to just talk about that sports thing real quick?
About that sports thing.
All-Star Weekend, baby.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the XFL and how much of a success that was.
The XFL was
We
amazing.
can talk about that, the success of that too, because that's pretty awesome. I think it's great. I'm more than welcome it. I actually like all the freaking the interviews like right after stuff because you get that like in the moment interview and interaction. Like this is how I felt right now instead of having to get it at the end and it's like they just try to think about it or something and just kind of throw something out of their ass. It's like no, like I'm feeling it right now. And it's like man, I can't wait for the person to be like I blacked out.
Champion of the XFL should face the weakest team of the NFL to advance into the pro league.
That'd be awesome, but I feel like it would be so convoluted contractually, like it just wouldn't even make sense. Because could you imagine? Because they're two different organizations. Could you imagine signing a deal for the NFL? Your team just happens to suck, and then you get pushed down to the XFL, so you're making less money. I'd be like,
Well, that's your fault.
what?
That is the owner, the coaches, the players' faults.
So it's not your fault. It's not necessarily the player's fault. It's the coaches and the owner's fault. It's because if you get drafted into a bad program, it's not your fault. Like
Then that's your incentive. Don't be the worst. And the thing is, just because you're the worst doesn't mean that if you could still beat the XFL team. All you got to do is beat that other team.
That's true. I
mean, you got to think. Some of the starters from the XFL were practice squad guys. If you cannot beat a bunch of practice squad guys or old ass players, then you deserve to be in the XFL.
Not necessarily, man. It's a group effort. It's just I think it's too convoluted just because it's a program and versus like instead of like one person, like if it was boxing or something, one boxer that's on him or a wrestler or a singular sport, tennis, whatever you want to call it. But like a group sport, it's too hard to call just because. So you're saying that there's practice squad guys. Some of those practice squad guys can definitely compete with high level NFL players. They just never legitimately got their shot. They never got their time on the field. You know, they were good at like there was already great players on the team, so they're good enough to start on the practice squad or something. You know, but they never got that chance to actually go into the team and just be like, all right, cool. Like I'm gonna show them what I got and then ball out real quick. So if the whole program is faulty and then you get drafted into that and then you get sent to the XFL. So now this like $9 million contract or whatever rookie contract I signed for is now only worth $3 million. What? Oh hell no! Y'all got me messed up.
Well, first of all, if you're making $3 million, if you're making $3 million as a 24-year-old straight out of college, there should be nothing that you like complain about in the first place. But second of all, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I'm just throwing some shit out there that maybe they could think of as using.
I actually kind of like that idea because them teams at the bottom just stay at the bottom and just rack up draft picks, get good players in the trades, trade them to get more draft picks, and they remain terrible for years on end. I can't remember the last time the Redskins were good.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time the Dolphins were good. I can't remember the last time the Browns were good. They were supposed to be good this year, but at some point, something has to be done about these teams tanking. And I think what you propose would actually do a great job of getting people like, no, we're definitely not going to be at the bottom. We don't have to even see this XFL team. That's not going to be us.
Yeah.
But as far as that, but I definitely like the way what I'm seeing from Cardale Jones.
Yeah.
Because I remember the Chargers, I think, was it the Chargers that drafted him, correct?
No, he got drafted by, I believe it was the Bills. He got picked up by the Chargers to be a backup for Rivers.
Huh, how'd that work out, Chargers? Anyway, but
yeah, we got fucking
from the way he's been looking these last couple of weekends, I feel like he didn't really get a fair shake at things.
No, he didn't.
Because everybody's talking about PJ, but I'm talking Cardale Jones is slinging that ball around.
Well, Cardale Jones was known because he had a cannon. He's always had a hell of an arm, and I mean it kind of sucked because they put him behind Taylor and then they put him behind Rivers. Or in a situation where he's not going to start. I mean, if he was in LA now, I honestly would have him fight for that opportunity to play against Taylor or Tua or Herbert or whoever we pick up.
What?
I did not hear what Brandon said.
I said, yeah, he can't take me.
Wow.
But yeah, for the other news we were talking about in what do you call it? Pre-recording. We're talking about the
pre-show. Yeah. When we start getting Patreon and subscribers and shit, we'll give you access to that pre-show where we just start talking about dumb shit.
But yeah, we mentioned how it was All-Star Weekend this past weekend. And Aaron Gordon got robbed again. I don't understand how this keeps happening. How the best dunker in the game, next to Zach LaVine at least, but even then, I feel like that was a sham as well. But how can you do so many good dunks and you lose to the guy who did the same dunk over and over and over again? That guy, Derrick Jones Jr., went under the legs 5 times. Okay, we get it. You can go under the legs.
Don't get me wrong. Jones, he could dunk. He definitely could dunk. But Aaron Gordon jumped over Taco Fall. Taco Fall is tall as shit. He is a tall ass motherfucker.
Yeah, just to be able to get anywhere near 7'5", even if Taco Fall had to duck even a little bit. I think Brandon was mentioning that earlier. Even having to duck a little bit, it's at a 7 foot high. Like there's no one else that can even jump that high. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's way up.
But that wasn't even his best dunk. That one he threw off the side of the backboard and like cupped it and looped around and did a 360. That we should have walked. We should have went home after that. Like everything was dope.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of people that try to say that it was rigged. That obviously we saw before. Dwayne Wade had one of the deciding votes. Obviously, it was off a panel of 5 judges. But I know that there was a lot of videos and a lot of people speculating that you could see people look directly at Dwayne Wade and probably say that it was rigged just because Wade had played with Jones in the past. That it was probably something that he was favored, that he wanted to give him that extra incentive. I think that Gordon should have won. I agree with you. I mean, when he dunked against Levine, I thought that Levine won just because I personally thought that Levine did a better job. But this year against Jones, I definitely think he got robbed.
I think he did better. Levine did better. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Levine did way better.
But that about wraps that up, right, for the sports talk.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Last but not least, before we get out of here,
unless XFL signed Colin Kaepernick, we don't know it. Hold on, let me check.
And out.
That definitely has to happen because he asked for an exorbitant amount of money.
Oh yeah, so, Kaepernick wants $1 million. He wants to get paid Tom Brady numbers
for real. But anyway, last but not least, for some game announcements for you guys, real quick. Dragon Ball Fighterz announces a season 3, 5 characters total, starting with Kefla and Ultra Instinct Goku. That's available at the end of this month for those of y'all that like to get your butts kicked in a little bit of fighting game action. Season 2
by 12-year-olds.
I know, right? Season 2 of Call of Duty started. It brought a classic map back, Rust. I don't know if you guys remember that one or not. Also brought back the weapon UMP-45.
Also brought back Ghost. It brought back the character Ghost.
Brought back Ghost, and there's some other maps too, but they're not classic. They're just brand new maps.
But I thought Ghost was dead.
There's like 5.
That's what I thought.
Ghost Riley. Simon Ghost Riley is not dead. You look at that. The pixels do not line up. He shot him in the shoulder. Not kidding. Yeah, they added like 5 new maps. I played the game. I played it yesterday, and yeah, it's map knowledge is crap right now. So if you play against me trying to get an easy win, play me in the new maps.
Yeah, and then also the battle royale for the release date for the battle royale for Call of Duty was also announced, and it's going to be released sometime during season 2. It's also, people speculated first when the new update dropped, it was like 60 gigabytes or something, which is like way more than like just a couple maps, and then a new character or whatever.
Bro, all those shaders, man.
What kind of battle royale are we getting? Are we getting Hunger Games battle royale, or are we getting
like Fortnite,
the Japanese style of battle royale?
Fortnite.
Okay, like Fortnite.
I don't think there's anything that'll ever be like the Japanese battle royale.
So it's just going to be straight up. People are going to snipe and try to.
It's going to be like PUBG. If anything, it's probably going to be like PUBG more than Fortnite.
Yeah.
Please don't compare any other battle royale to Fortnite ever again. I hate that game.
This man said he hate that game. We playing it all the time. Anyway,
I don't know my wife be playing it. I play it for her.
And then last but not least, Sony is struggling to price the PS5. It's costing roughly about $450 to manufacture, and if you kind of do like the cost ratio or whatever, they should be charging about $470 for it, which will be like the most expensive ever, if I'm not mistaken, for a console.
They dropped the PS3 for what was it, $500 for their most highest version of it, right?
I don't think so.
They dropped it for hella expensive. I know there was a lot of
there's probably like a crazy bundle for it or something, like some games and a PS5. But I believe most consoles, the highest it's ever been was like,
I'm pretty sure they dropped it for $499.
I want to say $300. That's what like the article said, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, that's not the important part. The part that we're trying to figure out is that they're either gonna take a hit, or they're gonna lose numbers, because obviously most consoles get sold around holiday season. So people are either going to be like, I'm not spending $500 on a dang console, or they're going to lower the console cost, or they're going to lower the price of the console and take a hit monetarily. There's kind of no news yet, but usually around February, this time frame, the price for the consoles are usually announced before they come out or whatever. So be looking forward to that, ladies and gentlemen. And last but not least, what are y'all messing with? What have y'all been freaking around with this week or this past week or, whatever?
Well, I think for me, I already talked a little bit about Avenged Sevenfold. I've definitely been listening to that. Anything else that I've been doing, I've been working since I just got home. I just came back from vacation in San Diego, as you heard on our last one. I'm back home and I've been messing with a lot of games, playing a lot of Call of Duty, playing a lot of the new Apex. Really nothing much else that I've been messing around with. I'm actually looking forward to the Dragon Ball Fighters and to Super Smash Brothers, just because I haven't downloaded a single character yet, and I really want to look at downloading every single new character they got. But that's about all I'm messing with personally. What about you guys?
I've been really getting into sound lately. I know what that sounds like, real nerdy, but just because my plan is in my apartment to get those foam pieces that you put up in studios,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to put them around in random spots in the apartment to see how it affects the sound when I watch movies. I got that new system with the subwoofer and the sound bar and all that, so I really want to try to encompass the sound a little bit better in here.
He trying to make y'all know the vibes.
Yeah. We're real nice. It's gonna be smacking in
For
here.
sure. Oh, smacking, smackity smack. For me, I'm kind of displaced right now. That's a whole story for another time though. But right now I've been, kind of getting back into my Switch. I haven't really touched it, since for a long time actually, probably for like a year or so. But I recently got back into it, downloaded all the characters for Super Smash Brothers, kind of like what DJ was talking about. But I just recently bought Fire Emblem Three Houses, and boy, let me tell you, that is a time waster. As far as like you'll run out of time because you're gonna have a good time playing it. There's a lot to do in that game, way more than any other Fire Emblem that I've ever played before. At least I've mainly played the ones for Game Boy Advance and 3DS. But this game there's a ton to do. There's like a relationship system. People can like you and dislike you. You pick a house, which is like kind of like starting off like, you're the group of like warriors you can choose from. People know magic. They shoot arrows. They fight with swords, lances, axes, all kinds of different things. You can class upgrade. You're also a professor in this game. So you have to like, learn things yourself and like, make sure you're setting a good example for your students or whatever and interact in a certain way so you can actually move around like free roam or whatever with your character. It's pretty cool and it's entertaining. Story seems pretty cool so far. You're a professor at an academy. I'm sure it's going to get a little bit crazier. There's already a little bit of like somebody's obviously a spy to some degree because, got a little bit of that going on, thieves, bandits and whatnot. So expect to hear, I can't really stream that, but whatever. But also, make sure you guys check out the stream. Me and DJ be running Apex. We'll throw up the link on Facebook and Instagram sometimes and stuff like that, so you guys can just mess with us on there or whatever. We can stream on YouTube or Twitch. It don't matter, whatever you guys' preference is. Just make sure you follow me at Taylor Earth's Hero. That's right? Yeah, I'm Taylor Earth's Hero on Twitch too. Yeah, pretty much Taylor Earth's Hero on everything.
Like we don't have a whole squad playing Monster Hunter, but okay.
That too, but I don't really stream that because it's more like I'm just more focused on like cutting off tails and stuff. So, but that's about it. But that about wraps up the episode.
Yeah, if you're trying to catch some L's in Call of Duty, hit me up. I'll be on there too.
Oh, for sure. But that about wraps this up, ladies and gentlemen. Unless you guys have anything else, do you guys?
Nope.
All right, so this has been another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Culture by the Uncultured. That's one word. Also, don't forget to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and subscribe to us on YouTube at Culture by the Uncultured. That's going to be multiple words, so the space is in there. So, make sure you guys get that right. Rate us on Apple Podcasts, 5 stars, hopefully, and leave us some comments on YouTube. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know that you're messing with us. Y'all rocking with the show. Also be sure to visit our website at www.culturebytheuncultured.com. Catch you guys next time. See ya.